What is it with ethnic minorities when they get a taste of power? They lose their God-forsaken minds and are ready to throw the most needy and the weakest among us under the bus in order to what? Maintain their position in high office? It was bad enough when the political right served us with Priti, deport-dem, Patel and Cruella freaking Braverman. Now, the political left, being the Labour Party, has served us with Shabana Mahmood, the UK Home Secretary, who is now unleashed bigoted practices like selling the assets of asylum seekers. And when we say assets, they have barely nothing. So she's talking about things like jewelry, earrings that they may have. She's regurgitating racist rhetoric, like blaming asylum seekers for the division in the country. And she's now implementing dehumanizing policies, all of which she's framed as the UK's immigration reform, at the center of which is to scapegoat asylum seekers for years of failed immigration policies. People. And she's legitimizing all of this with the color of her freaking skin. If you want to know what racism laundering is, what whitewashing bigotry looks like, what legitimizing anti-Muslim and Islamophobic rhetoric does, I give you the brown, Asian, Muslim, British Shabana Mahmood, because of whom they will now say, well, that can't be racist, she's Asian and brown, and that can't be anti-Muslim or Islamophobic, she's Muslim. Shabana has now become the racial gatekeeping extraordinaire of the Labour Party's pandering to racists and the far right. Take a look at this.
I wish I had the privilege of walking around this country and not seeing the division that the issue of migration and asylum system is creating across this country. Unlike him, unfortunately, I am the one that is regularly called a fucking packy and told to go back home. It is I who knows through my personal experience and that of my constituents just how divisive the issue of asylum has become in our country. And I do say to him, I wish it were possible to say that there isn't a problem here, that there's nothing to see, and that it is all, in fact, just extremist, right-wing talking points. But this system is broken, and it is incumbent on all members of Parliament to acknowledge how badly broken the system.
Did you catch how Shabana just legitimized the racist, bigoted, dehumanizing policies the Labour Party is about to unleash on immigrants with her personal experience of racism? Did you catch how she regurgitated the racist rhetoric of blaming asylum seekers for the division in this country? That makes Shabana a liar and the latest weaponized tool of white supremacy. She is the daughter of economic migrants who came from Pakistan in the 60s and 70s and is now being weaponized to prosecute and persecute asylum seekers fleeing devastation, destruction, and death. Shabana Mahmood is a political coward. Did it ever occur to Shabana to maybe, create safer legal routes for asylum seekers, To maybe pair compassion with control, to have the balls, the ovaries, to say to these so-called British people she's pandering to, that asylum seekers are not the cause of division in this country. Your dehumanization and demonization of them is. To have the balls and ovaries to say to this politically illiterate class that asylum seekers are not the reason you don't have food on your table, clothes on your backs, or roof over your heads. It's down to economic inequality. And quite frankly, for that, you should be looking at the uber wealthy and successive governments that have lacked the political will to protect your interests. What the hell happened to this Shabana?
No specific plans regarding amnesty for undocumented workers. Myself personally, as a Labour backbench member of Parliament, I do support a general amnesty for all people who are already in the country so they can regularise their status and start playing a full part in British society. But that will have to be alongside other documentation measures as well. That is not official Labour Party policy yet, but myself and a group of other Labour MPs are continuing to make the argument.
When the likes of Tommy Robinson, who organized the biggest anti-immigrant protest, is congratulating his fellow patriots for a Labour policy, you should know you're on the wrong path. And when the racist, white supremacist, anti-immigrant Rupert Lowe MP is excited about your policy, girl, you are sold. And Shabana, we know that by asylum seekers, you mean black and brown people. Because if you meant white people, then the same standards should apply to Ukrainians. Over 200,000 Ukrainians have been given free homes in the UK. Not just hotel accommodation, free homes and access to every single benefit that British citizens have paid taxes for and Ukrainians have never contributed a dime to. They have the right to work. They have access to job seekers allowance, NHS, housing benefit, name it. Their children go to school without issue. These Ukrainians, some of them can't even speak freaking English, but that's not a problem because they're white. I don't see anybody calling them, oh, the cause of division in this country. Why? Because they're white. I don't see any of this negative energy coming from you, Shabana, or Tommy Robinson, or Rupert Lowe against them for being asylum seekers. Why? Because they're white. We get it. White asylum seekers are okay. Black and brown asylum seekers are not. We see you.